Good day and welcome to Natural Health Dialogue. Today with naturopathic Dr. Randy Lee, and we're going to talk about your favorite topic of exercise, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exercise is not normally a favorite topic of most people. There are people who get really big into it and they go run marathons and go to gyms and get a gym membership, and they spend hours and hours at the gym and they're bulking up, working with the weights and things like that. But the average person doesn't give much thought to exercise. And so, we started the first half of the year talking about holistic types of things, survival types of things. Then we've dedicated the last half of the year of various ways to stay healthy. And this week, we're going to talk about the importance of exercise. Now, I wrote a series of articles some time ago where I gave an illustration about a guy who retires. I actually read this in a medical magazine that said that the average guy who gets 65 and he finishes his career and he goes home and he says, look, I've done my time. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch football, or I'm going to watch wrestling, or whatever else he wants to watch on TV. And so he just gets up for meals and to go to the bathroom and to go to bed at night. But the rest of the time he just sits and watches TV. Oddly enough, the life expectancy of that individual is about 2 years, according to the medical magazine that I read. And everybody says 2 years, but now he's done all this work and now he's just being able to relax, and you can't relax and add to your life. And the answer is, you remember when we were doing body systems and how they work, I indicated that the primary waste disposal body systems of our body don't have a pump. You don't have a pump for your bowel. You don't have a pump for your lymphatic system. You don't have a pump for your kidneys. They're things that work and function only when you move. And so it requires some movement. Now, how do you define exercise? People argue about that all the time. Some people say you have to go to a gym to exercise. My definition of exercising is just movement in general. You just need to move. And I looked up on a medical article that I read here this last, 2 or 3 weeks ago now. But it basically said that exercise is anything that causes your muscles to work and makes your body burn calories. Now, that's an article that I think came out of the Mayo Clinic. It says if you're making your muscles work and you're burning calories, then they can classify that as exercise. So for me, again, it's just movement, regular movement, active movement, get your heart pumping movement. You need something other than just sitting, because when I did the lymphatic system, I talked about the toothpaste effect. You move your muscles, it squeezes on the lymphatic glands and on the lymphatic nodes and causes that lymph to move. If you're not moving, it doesn't move. If you're not moving, your bowel's not moving. Gravity will pull it down, but then it just sits in your bowel. The long and the short of that is, it doesn't take very long before you are retoxifying your body constantly. And so if you're every day adding more and more toxins to your body, it only takes a couple of years before you become so toxic that you've developed so many diseases and so many conditions that you end up dying. That's the bottom line. You need to exercise. You need to move in any way that you find acceptable.
You guys have t-shirts at the Health Patch that say just move?
I should get one of those. I bet you there's some gyms that have them. But yeah, you just need to move. I read a whole bunch of articles on exercise from places like the Mayo Clinic, the Better Health Channel, Healthline, a whole bunch of them. I probably read 20 of them where I was trying to look at what goes with exercise, and they begin to become redundant. A lot of people saying the same things. And so I'm going to tell you some of the things that I found that are the importance of exercise. One, it improves your mood and makes you feel happier. It reduces stress and anxiety. It reduces depression by generating and maintaining the feel-good hormones. Now, those things are not done if you're not moving around. Secondly, it builds and maintains strong muscles and bones. And most of us, when we think about exercise, that's what we're talking about, is building up muscle or building up bones. But you need your skeletal system, like many other body systems, need that structure of moving in order to move things around to make sure that they're getting the nutrients they need. You may have noticed that when the winds come, you go out and look at the trees and you go and look at the plants that are moving, and they're all waving in the wind. That's movement for them. I had my first garden this year where I grew my own plants from seeds. And the guy who was helping me do that told me that in the little greenhouse where he had the seeds, he set up a fan. And I said, what's the fan for? It's not overly hot or cold in here. And he said, no, we want the plants to move. It gives them a stronger structural system, a deeper root system, and makes them grow better. So we put a fan just for movement to make the plants move. That applies to us as well. We need to move. It, of course, we know it reduces fatigue and increases our energy. We think we need energy to move. I was reminded of a television program that I watched some years ago where this guy had gotten older, my age probably now or less, and he just didn't feel good. And he finally decided he was going to commit suicide. But he didn't want people to know that he was committing suicide. So he opted what he would do, knowing that his heart was weak, was he's going to go out and run. And he was just going to literally run till he dropped and had a heart attack and died. And so he ran and he ran and he ran until he did, in fact, drop. He didn't have the energy to keep going. But then after he rested a little bit, he got up and walked back home. He tried that for 2 or 3 days, could never make himself have a heart attack. In fact, he just kept getting healthier and healthier. And by the end of the little video that we were watching, the guy was running marathons and running in 10K races and all that kind of stuff and felt great. The fact of the matter is, exercise generates energy for us, and it's kind of a cyclical thing. It's a paradox. More energy gives us more ability to carry out the exercise, and more exercise gives us the energy to carry out the exercise. So I thought that was kind of interesting. We all know that it helps to manage our weight and helps us to lose some weight. That's a great one. What you may not know is that one writer quoted that regular exercise has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity, heart health, body composition, and decrease blood pressure and cholesterol levels. Now, that's a quote from one of the medical articles that I read this week. If you want to improve your health in general, you need the exercise. Blood and oxygen flow that are generated help with your memory and your brain function, slows down the aging process. There's a bunch of others here. We're not going to have time to go into all of them, but there's just so many things in your body. We were created for movement. We need to move. I had a couple that came in for weight loss stuff at one time, and I talked to them for 2 hours, told them a lot of supplements that would help and that kind of stuff. They left, came back a month later, and he said during that month he had lost 20 pounds. His wife had lost 15 pounds. I said, what did you do? And he said, we made one change. Instead of sitting down after dinner and watching television, we got up after dinner, walked around the neighborhood for a half an hour, then came back and sat down and watched TV. That half an hour of exercise after the evening meal lost him 20 pounds and her 15 pounds in a single month. Again, and one that should spur a few people. Several writers noted that if you want to put a little bit of spark back in your sex life, do some exercise. Not only because of the energy that it'll give you, but also it improves your confidence in how you look and your physical appearance, and you're not so uncomfortable with your clothes off, even with your spouse. So another thing to do. I'm going to kind of close up with this quote from an article by the Mayo Clinic that said, exercise can be fun and social. Exercise and physical activity can be enjoyable. They give you a chance to unwind, enjoy the outdoors, or simply engage in the activities that made you happy in the first place. So how much is enough? Enough so that you get your heart pumping, keep it pumping at a good rate for about 15 minutes a day. The idea is not that you're doing strenuous amounts, but that you're doing it regularly, you're doing it actively, and you make it a part of your lifestyle. Everything in your body will function better with a little exercise. It's not how much you want, but the fact that you're doing it regularly. So if you want to improve your body systems, all of them, just add some exercise to your life.
And if someone has been not exercising for a long time, or even if they have and they're going to change something, should they consult with their doctor also?
Absolutely. It's always good to check with your doctor, but I don't think you'll find a single doctor that's going to tell you, sit down and be still. You don't need to at your age do anything. One of my favorite examples is a lady friend of mine who lived to 94 years of age, and 3 days a week she went to the Y and did water aerobics. She said it doesn't stress me at all. It de-stresses me. It keeps me moving. And she lived to 94 and had an active lifestyle till the day that her heart failed and she died. She worked as a candy striper at the hospital. She was at church regularly. She had lots of activities and involvement. A delightful lady until her heart gave out at 94 years of age. Exercise, it's good for you.
Great example for us. Thank you, Randy. That brings our show to a close today. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.
Amen. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.